This happy family was on the way to take their son to school when they suddenly had an accident. The military couple could not survive, but the son was lucky to survive, adopted by the aunt who is a police officer as her own child because of losing parents. So Bayman's personality is always sad and easily angered. He has changed schools 3 times because he doesn't like the bratty bullies, but he was smart, so he went home to study the law course on his own and successfully passed the exam to get a law degree. But because he didn't have a high school diploma, the law degree was just a vocational degree. No employer would accept it. They even sarcastically said he was uneducated. This words had just ended made Bayman mad. He picked up the chair he was sitting on and threw it at the recruiter, then angrily left. Bayman, depressed, sat down to eat noodles on the side of the road. Then suddenly he met the director of the law firm he interviewed in the afternoon. His name was Moon Go. He didn't care about degree, but he saw the natural talent of the male lead. Moon Go wanted to cooperate with Bayman, help him working as a military prosecutor in a military environment. Mentioning the words military made Bayman extremely disgusted, so he immediately refused. But when he heard Moon Go talk about 5 times more money than a lawyer and a 10% commission, equal to the whole year he tried to work, Bayman could not resist. But when he entered the army and came into contact with many people, Bayman gradually realized that his parents' accident was not accidental, but was caused by someone harming. So who is the enemy? Please continue to follow along. After agreeing to cooperate with Moon Go, the male protagonist successfully became a high-ranking sergeant in the army. Today he came to meet a new recruit and deliberately showed special interest in him. After went out, he told the platoon leader of that team that guy was the son of the president of a big bank. After hearing that the platoon leader treated the guy extremely well, his clothes were also washed by someone else. When everyone went out to practice, the bank president's son was allowed to stay in the room to rest. That naive boy thought that because he had severe sinusitis, should be paid more attention by everyone, but he didn't expect that he would fall into the trap of the male lead and Moon Go. Very quickly, the fact that the bank director's son was given special treatment in the army was exposed by the press. The male lead is a military prosecutor, so he is in charge of this case. The boy hoped Bayman would help him clarify his medical condition, but he asked the wrong person. Bayman asked questions to prove that the boy was entitled to preferential, especially without giving him a reason. When the boy asked, this was Bayman's intention. Then he looked at him with killer eyes, not knowing that outside the interrogation room, a pair of eyes were watching everything. It seemed Wu In had seen through Bayman's intentions. This plan was successful, making the director of the bank had to resign due to press pressure. The male lead did this job for Moon Go to complete his undercover mission in the army. Now he will be discharged in a few months. At that time, Bayman did not want to work for Moon Go anymore, but wanted to work for someone above him. That was the young CEO Tay Nam. He was a man with money and power. At his party, there was a couple dare to yell at his pet dog. They was physically attacked by Tay Nam's bodyguard. Not only that, he also forced the man to kneel down and apologize to his dog, then continued to pour angry punches on the man. After beating this man, he assigned Moon Go to handle the legal issues of this case. The case of the bank director's son was also ordered by him, for that bank is against his company. Tay Nam really wanted to meet the male lead, who had successfully completed the last case. He wanted to see if Bayman was really as loyal as his dog. Then he chased Moon Go out. He continued to have fun with his friends. The blonde man was Tay Nam's best friend named Helen. He brought his extremely pretty girlfriend, causing Tay Nam to reveal his evil intentions. The girl immediately felt the danger and wanted to leave, but the 2 people held her back and forced her to drink a glass of water to be polite. That glass of water had sleeping pills in it. Not long after the girl finished drinking it, she lost consciousness, and Tay Nam's smile became more and more inhumane. Not long after, at the police station, a girl staggered into the report after harming people. These bastards are still having fun with each other as if nothing had happened. Suddenly, a red-haired girl wearing dark glasses appeared outside the door. Seeing that there was a girl, they thought someone was calling to continue having fun, so the blonde man opened the door to let the girl in. The red-haired girl sat in front of the men without fear. The girl who took off her glasses unexpectedly was Wu In. She had long investigated their actions, so she came here today to deal with the scum. She fought those men alone, but was not inferior. The girl acted extremely strongly and decisively, and soon defeated them all. The blonde man wanted to run but was stopped by Wu In, and was taught a lesson by the girl. After dealing with everything, she called her teammates to bring these guys back to the warehouse. She did this for no purpose at all, but just felt like she needed to help the world operate again. Get out of the dominance of money. On the male protagonist side, he is busy finding out information about Tay Nam's name to approach this guy, only to be surprised to learn that this guy was the son of the first 2-star female general in Korea. Everyone was in awe of the series of integrity victories. Back to Wu In, she locked the bastards in the trunk of the car and went to the hospital to visit the victim girl named Mina. Wu In gave Mina a video of them humiliating her, saying that she must keep this evidence carefully, then we can send his to prison. The blonde boy is a famous singer, so his disappearance was quickly reported on the media. His close friend, Tae Nam, also quickly learned this news. His lawyer is Moon Go. He is worried about finding a way to save Tae Nam from this involvement, because he knows that the blonde boy's disappearance is definitely related to the female students who were humiliated by them. Tae Nam is not worried at all. Cases like this can be solved with a little money. Tae Nam asked Moon Go to order Bayman to find the blonde boy, making Moon Go feel that his position was about to be replaced, so he indirectly gave the image of the blonde boy to Bayman, but didn't let him go to see Tae Nam. Bayman accepted the mission and immediately went to work. He went to that bar to investigate. Most of the cameras were deleted, but the perpetrator missed a camera on the rooftop. Bayman understood, so giving some money to bribe, so he watched the video. Inside was a girl with red hair and dark glasses. Then Bayman continued to the other room to collect blood on the floor. On the other side was the banker's son was arrested and put in military prison, so he had hatred for the male lead. He hired a boss to kill him with a large sum of money, and this boss also had a grudge against Bayman, so he agreed. At this time, Bayman went with Moon Go to meet Tae Nam. Moon Go clearly did not want to, but could not disobey his master's orders, just waiting for this opportunity. Bayman nominated himself to work directly with Tae Nam without going through Moon Go anymore, making Moon Go very uncomfortable. The thing he feared the most had finally come. When turned back, Moon Go blamed Bayman for doing so, which was tantamount to betraying him. But most people want to be promoted to higher positions, is no longer valued by Tae Nam. Moon Go turns to bite him back by threatening to tell everything to his mother. Hearing the word, Tae Nam's whole body was cold. The thing he was most afraid of in the world was his mother. Whatever he was afraid of it quickly came, while Tae Nam was struggling with Mina to force her to reveal where the video was. Then his mother's subordinates arrived, asking him to come see her urgently. At the same time, Bayman and Wu In were going on a mission assigned by their superiors, was suddenly stopped by a car in the middle of the bridge. It was the car of the gangsters hired to kill Bayman. As a man, Bayman told Wu In to stay in the car so he could handle it, but as soon as he got out of the car, he was surrounded by thugs. Bayman tried to fight back, but the thugs were too numerous and aggressive, while Wu In sat leisurely in the car observing everything. When Bayman was about to be defeated, she got out of the car to support. She calmly turned the car's windshield wiper to fight the thugs. Seeing a woman dare to challenge, a thug disdainfully criticized her. As soon as he finished speaking, she knocked him out. But the other guys who came in were also defeated by her. This aura of hers made Bayman surprised. With just a few moves those people were defeated. The two continued on their way. At this time Bayman sat in the back seat and accidentally saw Wu In's red hair. She also deliberately wore dark glasses so that he would remember the suspicious red-haired woman. He secretly took some of the hair from there to take for DNA identification and returned to Tae Nam. He was so afraid of his mother because of the terrible memories he had when he was in high school. His mother did not punish him with a whip, but only with her eyes and words, because in order for him to obey, she was willing to give her son a grenade with the safety pin removed. While Tae Nam trembled in panic and fear, Yeon-soo warned him that the most important thing in her life was her power and position as the highest-ranking female soldier in the army, so no one could stand in her way, including her son. If Tae Nam does bad things that are exposed and affect her career, she will not hesitate to kill him. The grenade will explode after an hour, or will explode immediately if Tae Nam drops it to the ground. Yeon-soo locks his son in the warehouse so he can repent, but unexpectedly, that fear creates a perverted devil like it now. Every time he remembers that memory, Tae Nam is so scared that his brain wants to explode. As soon as he saw his mother, he knelt down and begged for forgiveness. Yeon-soo mercilessly kicked her son because he dared to skip military service and cause trouble outside. She stomped on Tae Nam's face. It wasn't that she wanted him to be a good person, but that she wanted him to do nothing to affect the reputation she had built. Tae Nam got out of that heavy foot, vowed not to serve at the barracks, managed by his mother, then ran away immediately. Tae Nam found Moon Go to vent his anger, and he leisurely said he was just following his obligation to report everything to Yeon-soo. Moon Go is not lacking anything. As a powerful lawyer and director of a law firm, Tae Nam couldn't do anything to him. On the other hand, the male lead gave Wu In's hair sample to forensics for examination, then followed her to see where she went during the working time. He carefully changed into another outfit so as not to be exposed. Seeing Wu In wearing a seductive black dress, Bayman suddenly vibration, but he quickly regained his composure and hid under a woman's feet to avoid being discovered by Wu In. He then fought for this woman bag and quickly paid to leave. The expensive bag was also accidentally bought, so brought it home as a gift for the aunt. Raised her nephew for many years, and he bought luxury things for her to use, making her feel moved to tears. After that, the male lead went to see the military doctor, who will be in charge of Tainam's military service examination, so that the doctor can give a certificate that Tainam is not healthy enough to enlist in the army. In return, Bayman will nominate a doctor with Tainam, let the doctor get out of the army, so he can get a good job at a big hospital. Yunsu also knows that Bayman is the one who helped his son escape military service, so she called her secretary to arrange an appointment with him. But at this time, Bayman continued to follow Wu In. At this time his friend called to say that he had investigated the suspicious car the day the blonde boy went missing. That car was registered under the name of a national defense company, the same company Wu In just come, and Bayman also followed all the way here. Wu In went to the rooftop to meet a man who was also her effective assistant, Director Kang of the National Defense Company. He helped her, because when he was in America, Wu In saved him from a group of bullies, and the Director Kang was also an international student who received a scholarship from her father's company when the company has not been robbed by others. From then on, the two became good friends. He was also the one who handled the blonde boy with her. But the male lead had heard everything. He turned and walked away. Wu In also looked at him and said that Bayman would be an integral part of her perfect plan. Back home, Bayman linked them all together, and it was certain that Wu In had linked up with Director Kang to kidnap Helen, while Tainam did not participate in the game further, so he escaped. The results of Wu In's DNA examination also matched the DNA at the scene. In order not to affect his discharge plan, he decided to take Wu In to jail. On the other hand, Moon Go broke into Mina's house, used her mother to threaten her. Whether she keep the video or not, she must not publish it, otherwise her mother will disappear forever. On the other hand, the male lead's friend has found the car where the blonde man was kept, and Wu In also gave Bayman's aunt the video of the villains harming Mina, so she could lead someone to arrest Tainam. Bayman immediately ran to announce to Tainam that he had found the blonde boy, making him smile because he thought the video was shot on the blonde boy's phone. If he found this guy, he would delete the video. Tainam also promised to give Bayman a good position in his big company if the exemption from military service is completed successfully. As soon as Bayman left, the blonde called to report the news. The video has been stolen by the red-haired woman, and at this time the police car is already downstairs. As soon as Bayman went out happily, he panicked when he saw his aunt leading the army to come here. He realized that the direction the police were going was Tainam's place. Indeed, not long after he was taken out, Soo-kyung also saw that there were 2 glasses of wine, so there was definitely another person. Went out to meet the male protagonist who was standing and observing. Not wanting her to know that he was working for the bad guys, Bayman ran away. Soo-kyung also chased after him. Bayman had to cover his face while driving, and Soo-kyung kept holding the speaker and shouting in his ear, asking him to stop the car. Bayman successfully cut off Soo-kyung, but on the way back, his car suddenly lost control, and a terrible accident occurred. Unexpectedly, the person who appeared in front of his eyes was Wu In the red-haired girl's suit. She officially announced her identity to entice Bayman to cooperate. Wu In took him to the hospital. Fortunately, he only had minor injuries, so as soon as woke up he left, returning to the army. Bayman saw Wu In and pressed her against the wall to question. Wu In said he wanted Bayman to wake up, because she knew he was a capable person. If it is used for the wrong purpose, it will be very dangerous. I'm waiting for the day prosecutor, Bayman escapes oblivion. This sentence from Wu In made Bayman freeze, because he didn't know why he had to chase after money. On the other hand, Tainam has been released from prison. He also forced Bayman to bring a dog to pick him up. That is called the evil of money. In or out of prison, only money has a say. The scene changes to Bay's man friend showed him Director Kang's past identity. If knew more about this person, he would investigate Wu In's identity. The male lead opened the video. He was surprised and did not understand. Why did Director Kang's company receive investment from Im's company to develop to what it is today, but now colludes with Wu In to harm Im's president Tainam? But when he hears President Cha was Im's first president, the male lead realized that perhaps that company used to belong to Wu In's family, but was robbed by Tainam's family. To make sure, Bayman called Wu In, come to ask her directly. He listed a series of her father's crimes, revealing military secrets, embezzlement, stock manipulation, and the person handling her father's case is lawyer Moon Go. And Yunsu is the one who forced her father to die, so now she wants to take revenge on them. And Wu In just silently watches and thinks he doesn't know anything. Just based on information online, Bayman returned the watch she gave him that had a wiretap attached. Wu In did not deny it and also told Bayman that The current president of Im Company is actually Yun Soo. Bayman said that after being discharged from the army he will work for that side. So, if Woo In opposes them, it means her is confronting him. She did not challenge,